Rhonda Davidson Irwin told us that her music has been on shows like Crockamole, Warraway, and more. In the Box, the Goodbye song. We'll talk about that in a bit. 5 days a week, every week for 22 years. She told us what it's like dealing with some very tough critics.
My audience had like a 30-second window. If they didn't like your music, they'd walk off or crawl away. You know, they wouldn't be there every day. So the children are your harshest critics. But when you know, seriously, when somebody, you know, who's 27 can come up and sing all the words of your songs to you, many, many years later, you know, you have actually had an impact on their lives. And that's very, very cool.
Absolutely. What's it like to have that reach and have that impact?
2 days ago, I went into a pub and someone found out that I wrote the music for In the Box. He went, "Oh, my gosh, that's my childhood." He said, "I'm buying you some shots." And he did. So that's nice when your clientele grows up and loves your music and, you know, does lovely things like that because they know your songs.
Now, Rhonda, our listeners are going to hear a children's song that we have written ourselves, or we're going to be writing ourselves at the end of this program. So a couple of questions for you about the actual songwriting process of children's music. First one, there'd be plenty of things not to do, the deadly sins of writing kids' music. Can you tell us what they are, please?
Well, don't frigging swear. No. Look, it's about developmental. Like, everyone thinks they can write a song for kids, but it's actually a very demanding thing to do because certain kids find it difficult to sing in certain pitches, for example, and certain scales. So we want to have something that's simple for kids to sing and that they can pronounce words correctly but still sounds cool. And that's the real challenge without it being too complicated.
So typically, they're quite short songs, 1 or 2 minutes, something like that. But we're really struggling to get up to that mark at the moment. So how long did it take you typically to write a kid's song?
Oh, you don't want to hear my answer. Look, you know, I've trained in music. So I've got a master's of music education and I've studied psychology and children's education. So pretty damn fast. In other words, you know, I would write quickly. And remember, I've written literally thousands upon thousands of songs. So I had to write them quickly, and the talent in the shows had to learn it quickly as well. It was quite extraordinary. So it didn't take me too long. And if it did take me too long, I hate to tell you this, but it means it's probably not right. It's not coming to you naturally. So I would probably abandon that and go on to the next song, if that makes sense, or another idea.
Okay. Lots of pressure on us to produce something good. I hope we live up to the expectations.
Will. I'm feeling it.
I guess we're trying to work on our own kids' song, but I guess you've worked on a lot of good ones. You were telling me earlier the Goodbye song is one that a lot of people recognise, but I guess what would you recommend we listen to for inspiration? What's your favourite song that you've worked on?
In all seriousness, when you're writing kids' songs, you want to listen to a lot of traditional songs. So traditional nursery rhymes are amazing because that's the kind of stuff that's going to give you inspiration. So you could write a verse, for example, and you can have a chorus. So you can extend your song by having verse, chorus, verse, chorus, verse, chorus. So essentially you could, you know, repeat the melody but have different words. Some of my songs are quite long, but they have a storyline and they're accumulative where you're adding actions, you're adding sounds. So, yeah, it's a tricky one to answer, but I think that's a good starting point. Yeah.
Well, we'll start to wrap this up, although not really. I'm sure we could talk about this for another 5 minutes as well. So do you want to tell us about what's launching on Friday?
So essentially, my passion is to be able to give music to anybody out there. And so we've got this great program called Together Sing, and it's going to be launched absolutely this Friday. And it's a free song for anyone that they could download. And it's really getting them to sing a song anytime in Mental Health Week, which is to promote the major areas that music does. Now, whether you're going to a live gig in Melbourne or Sydney or wherever you're based and you're dancing at 1 a.m. to a great band, whether you're at school and you're singing a nursery rhyme and you're 5 years of age, what singing and music does for you with your health and well-being is it covers 5 areas. That's your social area, your emotional well-being. Physically, it's a fantastic thing to do, and intellectually as well. And it's a bit of a shock to sort of understand why we're struggling to even get music into our schools. But this program for Together Sing will focus on Mental Health Week and how singing and music can assist us so much.
There we go. So that's the Together Sing program, which you can find on Facebook. It's been great talking to you, Rhonda. I've been Lachlan. I've been talking to you with Harper. And there we go. We'll wrap it up here.
You can't wrap it up, excuse me, Harper. What about that song that you've been working on? I've got to hear that.
Well,
I'd like to hear it as well.
It's a work in progress, Rhonda. It's only my ears have been blessed enough to hear it so far, so you'll have to tune into Sin FM when this airs.
Well, look, I cannot wait. And if you want any groovy beats to go underneath it, like I'll be there. All right? Because I need to hear this song.
Might have to take up that offer. Thank you very much for talking to us. That was a pleasure.
It's a pleasure as well.